Welcome everybody to webinar 3. I cannot believe we've already gone through 3 webinars since our training in October. Today we are going to share, and I am so excited by what everybody has been doing. It is just awesome. So Jennifer isn't here yet, so we're going to skip her. Colby. Should we just jump right down to you, Colby? um, and Paula is next on the list. So let's see. I'll unmute her.
Unmute me.
I unmuted you, Paula.
Okay, you have an appointment at 1:25, you and Dale.
Okay, sweet. Thanks.
Mute me again. Yes.
Okay, we're going to jump down to you, Steve. We'll come back to Paula.
Let me try to find me. Yeah, I'm still, right now we're gathering information, and we still plan on doing the story maps for a NHD style project that we're gonna present to the parents at our parent-teacher conferences in March. And so I plan on doing it in my class. I still need to meet with the other teacher to see if she wants to do that. I think we're going to give a couple different options on how they can present it. But that's where I've gotten everybody in. I've gotten 7th and 8th graders in. The ones in my classes have all logged in. We've played with it a little bit. Yeah.
I love that. That is so cool. And I wanted to tell you, because I think you asked for this the last time, they do now have a story map tutorial with the content.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yes, I know, with the new interface. And so you can build a sidecar, but it gives you the information about building the sidecar.
Okay.
But then if we keep scrolling, and it tells you, kind of what map to look for and, that kind of stuff. But if we keep scrolling all the way down to the very bottom, it says this. It says,
oh, yeah.
To continue recreating the Urban Africa story, you can download the materials, and you seriously have the coolest materials. And so this is what you end up with when you download it. You end up with the text, and so there's stuff to copy and paste, but you also have media and the legends information. So you have everything right there. So I was really excited, and that we found that, I think when we were getting ready for this, I was like, oh, cool. I was scrolling through. So
yeah, that's awesome. I think that'll help maybe get my colleague on board to something that might be less intimidating.
Good. I am so glad. That's good. All right, Paula, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we'll go back up.
You're free to go. You don't have a meeting.
Oh, I don't have a meeting?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay.
Okay.
So,
well, as I said, I was finally able to get the kids some access. Dale lied to me, so it wasn't total access, but I'm good at punting. So we did the distribution maps that Dale had tried before with his kids, and it actually, I thought, worked better, where they had partners, they could help each other navigate, but that it was walking, I was able to get them to go through it slower than if I had turned them loose on their own. So.
Okay, that's good.
But I did have a question. Is there like cheat sheets, like step 1, step 2, step 3, kind of like we had in class, that go through these different programs we were doing? Like GIS for idiots.
I guess, so you mean something more like the agenda that we had when we went through class, or?
Yeah, like if you click on this this is what it brings up if you click on that. You know, I have the ones we had at class, but I wondered for some of these other ones. Because I start in there and then I'm like lost. I get turned around or get somewhere. And like I said, Dale and I have no common planning period. So.
Okay, let me look and see for, they have some different resources, and I wasn't 100% sure with your question exactly what you were looking for, but I'll see if I can get you, because I mean, geo inquiries essentially are tutorials. And they tell you, turn on this layer, turn off this layer, and they have everything. But I'll see if I can find you any other kind of easy tutorials to look at.
That'd be great.
Thank you. We also, Julie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We also have that list of those different like skills, those different processes. So that may not be what Paula's after, but each of those, so in that section of like build your own knowledge, I forget the technical name of it, but like any kind of map that you wanted to make, you would be able to find a guide, a step-by-step scripted guide through that particular type of map. So I think
where am I at with that?
Oh, I'm pulling
Julie,
it. I'm looking right now.
Julie knows where it's at.
Julie, building map, no, that wasn't it. I think it was at the end of a day, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. It's not Skill Builder?
It is Skill Builder.
So scroll up just a wee bit.
There we go. Here we are. I'll add it over.
We can just dump that in the reflection document for you.
Oh, never mind. It's been moved or removed. Yeah, they've changed stuff. I'll find Skill Builder, and it's just they've changed since we did this in October, they've changed the.
You remember when we printed that initial document, Julia, like one of our first year of GIS trainings, we printed that huge packet of all of the different skills that someone might use in a single map?
Yes.
So we didn't do that with Paula's group, did we?
No.
But we shared the digital document? I don't remember.
And they've obviously changed links since when we did this in December, whatever month we did this in. And so I will go back and see if I can, I'm sure they still have these. They've just changed them. But these do have, like the intro skill builder is great because it does go through and give you like, I want to do this, and then it either tells you or it links you to something that will give you that. And then this getting started with GIS for educators is good too. So after the webinar, I'll look for those and send those out, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, and then we'll just keep on going up the chain again. So Jennifer's joined us. Yay, Jennifer, you came to make sure that Colby doesn't commit you to something. I knew it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's up?
Well, for me, my goal was before this meeting just to have kids sign in, because for some reason that was intimidating me from my trial run with our staff, and it went more smoothly than I anticipated it would, at least. But I felt like I had to go back afterwards and clean up all the mistakes that people made with, what was our special question and what did I change the password to and that sort of the jazz. So next time I try it, hopefully it will go more smoothly. And then Colby and I are just preparing to share a little bit at a breakout session at our professional development on Monday with our district. So that's super exciting to kind of get back into that and be able to share specifically with some teachers the resources that'll be able to help them.
Good.
So.
I'm excited that you guys are going to get to share. And I know somebody else further down also mentioned that they did some sharing, so that's cool. Question for you: What did you do? What were your clear directions to help your people log in?
Well, I printed out the spreadsheet, and I said, when it prompts you to change your passcode, change it to this and answer the question tigers with a capital T. And so still didn't work. So I thought that was pretty clear, but I guess I'd be curious to know. I think Colby had mentioned like he has them change a 1 to a 0 and then back to 1 or something like that, but that to me just seemed more confusing.
I have freshmen, so they're a little bit more in the know than middle schoolers.
I mean, these are even advanced 8th graders that I thought they would. Oh, well. It wasn't, I guess, my question is it prompting them for that every single time? Because when I went back to clean it up, then I wasn't prompted for that.
No, and this is one of the
Okay.
things that I have heard, like when we first started, this wasn't a thing, and then I think security has changed, and now it is a thing, you know, this security question, and so you just kind of have to go through and do it, and
Okay, well,
I
that's
have
good.
not heard a good way to manage it yet, so.
Okay. No problem. No, and then my 8th graders will be starting reviewing soon for the 8th grade state science test. And so I'll be doing undercover mapper with them and then working through a bunch of geo inquiries just as an earth science review since they haven't had that for 2 years.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Well, that'll be.
it's more thing. I know, I just need to spend time. And that's the thing I'm hoping maybe next summer, especially, just more time to kind of dive in and see where I can progress myself and then maybe where I can use that.
Well, that makes sense, and but I have to say, you guys as a class, as a group, have really implemented an awful lot of things, and it does take time, you know. Because Steve, you took this 2 years ago? You took this class?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think I mean, and that's something that Dan and I have really and just discovered. And in fact, Dan was like, you know, really, we should be inviting all the people that have attended to attend these 3 webinars just to make sure that they have that possible support. So and I know even myself, if I go, 3-4 months without looking at GIS, it's like, wait, how do I do that? So yeah. So I get it.
That's good.
So if I could jump in very quickly, you guys are presenting to just building staff about the ArcGIS software. Is that the case?
Colby, you want to answer that?
So we're doing our whole district. So it's all of our elementary, middle schools and high school. And then, we're doing undercover mapper, and then we're going through geo inquiries, and we've got them broken down in different content areas. So like we've got 2 or 3 English, we've got like 2 or 3 English teachers and a more science and more social studies teacher. And we have them break into groups saying, hey, look at these geo inquiries here. How could you use these in your content areas? What are some things that you like? And then it's kind of like a big share session.
Oh, nice.
And then to use some of these things.
Are you guys going to do like a scripted reflection or collect any information based on how it went? Or is it just going to be like a real-time collaborative conversation about how they might use this in their content area? Or are you going to do like a survey at the end?
I don't think we had a survey, did we, Jennifer?
No, I think we were thinking more of just the open conversation going on at that point. And
Okay.
then I think I've already committed us to doing it again in the fall. But,
Paybacks.
that's what we get.
But it actually might be beneficial to take pictures if you see people like engaging, having conversations. I think what Julie and I are wanting at some point in time is to at least get more South Dakotans interested in pursuing GIS.
Yeah.
And we can't get the fire started for some reason. We always have, I think, 10 to 15 every year, West River and East River. And there's many more social studies teachers than that. So if you guys could take pictures or get any information you could gather for how your staff respond to it, how they think they would use it, could be potentially beneficial for everybody involved.
Well, we didn't think about it, but we should put in a plug for you guys next fall for the same training that we went to. So if you have, I don't know if you have dates yet or anything, or what information you would want forwarded on to them, we should put that at the end of our information for sure too.
We don't have dates yet,
Okay.
but I can look and see, because this is a little bit early for us to get that information, but I can look and see what
I
we
can understand that.
But I think if you have people that are from other, like English and the math and the reading and those kind of things, when they start seeing how this would apply in their curriculum, I think that's going to help get more teachers involved. If you're just saying, well, there's a lot of social studies teachers and they don't all come.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And that was why I was picturing like even just a quick survey link with a couple questions. What do you like about it? How could you integrate this in your classroom? Or like Julie loves to do with the sheet reflections.
All right, thank you. Those are good ideas that we didn't really consider.
So don't even hesitate if you need help with any of that stuff. Julie or I could probably create it and do a link just in, I bet Julie could do it in under 60 seconds.
Thank you.
So much pressure, Dan.
I just volunteered you, my bad. I could
Yeah.
do it too. And I could do the survey if you wanted. Give you a link, share the results.
All right. There you go. There's your link, Steve.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. We do not have Corey with us, I don't think. To join? No. Okay. I am excited by Corey I'm loving this. He signed up another class seamlessly when the new semester started, and so I feel like we all should applaud for that.
We'll
That's
have him do a
awesome.
webinar next time, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know it's hard. I mean, so I'm excited. And Jamie created a blog. Oh, that's who it was. Jamie created a blog post about Esri geo inquiries and shared it to district staff. And so I was going to send a follow up and ask for the link just so that we could say, hey, just kind of see what they shared and maybe we can use that too. Elke has, they are going to start brainstorming ideas for the map competition, but she hasn't had anybody log in yet, and so she might be reaching out. So, and she couldn't be here tonight. She did email me. And let's see, Paul is also not here tonight. I was really excited about this. He's really emphasized using the pre-made stuff, but I have to say, Dan and I were feeling good when he said, the GIS training has been one of the best things he's been able to implement this year, and so that's so exciting. He did ask, how is the switch to the map in beta mode going? And so that is one of those things where it's going. I mean, they're doing it. But I don't know in terms of like timeline when it's going to become permanent. Because I've played around in it a little bit, but it's like I go back to the old one too. So have any of you guys played around with it? Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right, Colby. And I love that Jennifer is excited about doing the PD on Monday.
Yeah. So as you may have heard, Jennifer and I are preparing to share a breakout session for our PD on Monday. She's excited. I was also informed we'll be doing this in the fall.
Yes.
So that's also
Are you excited?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it'll be good. I just like that you can incorporate other subjects into this, and that people see that they have a place at the table as well for ArcGIS, not just social studies teachers. And you can get some of that different collaboration from other departments, which I think is a good thing. And then, I mean, you can even get elementary, middle school, and high schoolers working together on some of this stuff. If you're in one building, you could have your freshman ArcGIS students helping out your middle school and elementary students with some of the things that maybe the teacher doesn't need to be there for every little thing for. Like, where do you find the legend? Okay, well, your geography kids in high school should be able to figure some of those things out for your elementary and middle school kids. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of get them familiarized and used to some of those little things. So you could even have some of those kids help out too. For bigger districts like Harrisburg, it's a little harder, but I mean, it kind of is what it is. For me, I've just been putting more ArcGIS stuff in world history and world geography in where I can, just adding more things into some of my measurement topics and regions of the world that we cover. So kids are just getting more and more used to them as we do them. And I have less and less questions. And on the more difficult ones, like I found out today, I put a pretty difficult one in there. The more difficult ones, I've got to move to like my block days where I do direct instruction Otherwise, it becomes overwhelming. I got too many kids coming in asking the same questions on the same hard section. So then I'm like, well, I might as well just do this as a block day instruction, so I'm not having a bunch of questions over it. So found that one out today. So,
and actually, I really like that flexibility. I mean, to be able to say, okay, we're getting too many questions on this, let's move it to a block day kind of thing.
yep.
And having that opportunity. And I really am excited that they're doing that many geo inquiries per measurement topic. So
Yep, I think they
that's
do. I think in my first MT, I think they're doing I think they do 2 or 3 to start out with. Yeah, I think it's like 2 or 3 for each one. And we do, I think, 9. I think I got 9 MTs or 7 MTs, I think, that
oh wow.
they're doing them. So they're doing quite a bit. And there's some new ones, but there's also some older like GIS ones as well that I've found that have videos in them. And you watch the video, you look at the map, you answer some stuff on the map, and then you answer your questions too. So there's some other ones that other people have created that I've kind of took as well.
So Colby, you're collecting student achievement data on how well they do on these geo inquiries?
Yeah, so they're based off a mastery level of a 1, 2, or 3. Basically, I force them to master it. They have to get everything right on the GeoGuessr. I don't allow them to get a C on it. So if they miss like an explore part or an explain part, I make them go back and redo it. And a lot of times I'll just say, look at this question again, or come and see me. I want to have that verbal one-on-one with them right away instead of them trying to go back through it. And usually it's just a small little error on it. And it's something that we can handle one-on-one.
So Colby, you're using as your initial or base document, or you're using the Google files that were shared at the last training?
Yep, and then I have to alter them a little bit. I
Okay.
add a few more things, like put a screenshot in of what you're seeing on this map, explain this, whatever. Stuff that you might do in in a discussion, or if you're doing this as a class, you're gonna have more discussion and things like that. So I have to add those pieces in there.
Sure, that's awesome.
Okay. Nice. Thank you. All right, Dale.
Like I said, we've been using a little bit the undercover mappers, some geo inquiries. I think the big thing, I don't know, maybe I'm just short-sighted, but I'm trying to figure out ways that I can implement more ArcGIS stuff into what we're doing in class. We're moving into, I know Paula's ahead of me right now, but my class is just into Canada. She's just finishing up, and we're doing Latin and South America then. But we have a big grade-wide culture fair that's coming up. I'd love to be able to get our kids to, create some story maps on some of the things that they're doing with cultures. So that's my goal anyway.
Nice. Do you guys have anything on Canada, Latin America, or South America?
There are some geo inquiries on Latin America, I believe, with is it volcanoes and earthquakes? I think it's the one it's the earth moves beneath our feet, but even that one's it talks about like Middle America and Latin America. That one does. Where did I put that? Is that 3.1, I think?
That's what I've been using, is mostly the free stuff, because we haven't kind of signed up my kids for an account. I actually had them create the free trial one since we didn't have login stuff, and they did a free trial, so they had like 14 days worth of use under or something, or 7, I don't remember.
Go ahead.
I think part of that, at least from how I'm picturing it, is just becoming aware of the data that's available for those regions. So it may not be the easiest thing to do without the enterprise account, but I'm guessing you could still find layers specific to Canada and Latin America. And then once you find these layers, considering how you would want those layers to be integrated in a map that would further your kids' understanding of a particular concept. I know, Julie, we played with a Zika virus one. Was that, am I remembering correctly, Zika virus?
Yep.
It was like 2 years ago, but I think there's data available, but I mean, if you're wanting to take it to that next level of integrating data into some sort of story map, you could, how do I say, narrow your kids' options to like say, well, I know there's good layers or good data on these 5 things. I'd like you to pick a team or pick a group and then to pursue the story map creation from there, just as a spitballing that particular option. But you're wanting pre-made Canadian and South American explorations. Is that right?
Some of that, maybe like some geo inquiries or something like that, with some stuff that was there. And then, like I said, I'm just trying to just sort of come up with concepts of what kids could do. What kind of story maps could we create about geography stuff or culture? I guess more along the lines with culture in the Western Hemisphere.
So I think in terms of like the geo inquiries, Colby, it is the cracked plate one has the South American quakes on it. What other one did you mention?
I just posted it on Dale's little box there.
Okay.
At least I think I did.
You did. Yep. Okay.
It's in there.
Okay.
That one, but again, that one is it goes through S&P waves for earthquakes, and you do like the math calculations. That's the one I did today, and that was like that one was a tough one, even for a freshman and myself doing math. But I mean, yeah, the Canada one's hard. I haven't seen any ones for Canada. I guess if you had the big account or whatever, you could maybe look at, maybe they have like logging stuff in Canada, or looking at different Inuit populations, or I don't know.
Let me do a little looking. I found some stuff for Canada yesterday when I was looking for story map tutorials, because I'm still looking for that 1-page story map tutorial for you guys. I'm not finding it. And obviously I'm not building it either. So, but I did find some Canada stuff. And so it might be worth looking back at that just to kind of see if they have any different resources in that aspect. The other thing, I think you might want to try going back and doing, like when we're doing story maps, looking at it'd be good to think, looking at what where's my, I want to go home. Just looking through story maps and see if you can find story maps of South America, or or Canada, and kind of see what's already out there that's built, and then except I can't spell Canada.
And maps we love, and
the maps we love, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd kind of searched a few of those things, but I haven't taken the time to dig down into it deep to see what kind of things would be out there. The one that intrigues me a lot would be like the refugees. How many of them are heading into Canada and then eventually into the United States? Some stuff there that might be good to see. Oh, what's that overview of Banff? I'm always fascinated with Banff.
Well, there you go.
I think everybody is.
I am logged in right now, but I just did a quick search to see what for Canada, just to kind of see what came up, and this is an overview. So I think that would probably be your best best bet is to look for some pre-made maps if we're not finding any story maps, but look at the maps we love and, you know, some of that stuff that is already out there, and then just use those questions, you know, that you would pull off of a story map or off of a geo inquiry, and kind of build your own geo inquiry.
And then you can embed those, you can embed different videos like off of YouTube or something like that right into the story map then, right?
You can, yes, yes. In fact, story maps at this point don't even need to have a map in them. but, Jan,
More about the story than the map.
yeah, it is really more about the story. And so, I mean, the map can be, like when we did it, you could do a quick map and just drop a point in. Otherwise, you could do a more involved map with lots of layers, but you have options. This keeps on airing out on me, so I'm going to move away from it. But yeah, so I'll do some quick looking, and that earthquake one is a good one. But see if I can find anything from that Canada stuff that I was looking for.
Awesome. Thank
Awesome. You. Cool. So I'll see if I can figure out the beta mode too for Paul and let him know how that's working. All right. So we have new stuff for you, because I think the biggest thing I really want to tell you was there's a story map tutorial with content. That was like the most exciting thing I found all week. But we did go through and find a few more things, especially as you're thinking about the map contest. There's this topographic maps, and this is actually a whole article. And it's super cool, and Dan's going to talk about it real quick.
So we had seen these historical, how do I say, satellite images of regions, and you could see these crazy, like at least in Southeast Asia over the last 20 years, these ridiculous growth and proliferation of human settlements and the loss of like farmland and swampland. But we found this other layer that was actually based off of historical maps. And so it's absolutely fascinating, I think, at least from my sort of geeked out perspective, to look at a town and to look at the structure and the makeup of that town, not based off of an image, but off of an initial map that depicted that city. So did you have a couple of windows up, Julie?
I do. Imagine that.
So, or you can just live surf. Okay, so she just did a search for spearfish. And so if you guys can see the screen, you can see the map scales. And so what we would want to do is to maybe keep a consistent map scale if I was going to integrate multiple different layers to make a story map depicting the historical structure of a particular area. But you can see all of these different, how do I say, historical maps of these regions locally. And spearfish is just tiny, but it's, to me, it's very fascinating. And I think sometimes kids could get behind that kind of how do I say, deepening of local understanding.
And once you can really easily add it. So I just added it to a map, and if I click on save, it pops up in my map. And so now here it is, over the top of, one of the things that they talk about in this article is like turning layers on and off. You could also make a slider using the app, the slider app, to be able to slide back and forth. You can also change the transparency, and so having that options to do that, so we can see different transparencies there. And I can do that here on this viewing viewer, or I can also do it. I can also take it into a map and do it there. So you have a couple of different options, but it is kind of fun to be able to go back and compare areas and see what things are doing.
I thought something already had that. Is it me? Wasn't there something in New England though, like Boston or Salem or?
I believe there is a geo inquiry that does something like that.
Or at least.
Something that we've looked at, yes. This is not, I mean, this isn't really like new, but they've retooled this viewer to make it easier to come in and view. And I was really excited that like the scale is much easier to navigate, because when I first did it, you had to come in and actually look at each one and see what the scales were and make sure that they were compatible. And now I can even filter them. If I only want to see certain scales, I can turn them on or off. And so
Yeah, so a student who was just a little bit layer savvy could do a really interesting story map depicting the last 100 years of city growth and ending with a current satellite view, a current actual photo of the city of any of these major cities themselves. We didn't do very much. I don't think we checked out very many towns outside of. We just
we
looked
did
at
Rapid and Spearfish.
Rapid and Spearfish.
That was all we did. But Dan was really excited, and he's now doing a historical look at Rapid City. So don't bug him; he's busy. So, but yeah, so that's is especially, and the thing that I really liked about it is it gives you South Dakota content on there. And so many times, you know, when we're looking for layers and we're looking for content, we don't find that South Dakota connection. Speaking of South Dakota connections, remember how much fun we had with Community Analyst? Okay.
Silent there.
People are crying, Dan. So Dan is working on this big project right now with some of the Rapid City area schools, and none of this is there's no HIPAA or PII or anything in this, but one of the really cool things with Community Analyst is it had all that data. And so this is, we have the attendance areas from the district, and we made in Community Analyst, we made a site, and then from that site, we're able to, I mean, and this is just pushing a button, make the demographic information. And I could go in and modify that demographic information. I mean, I shouldn't say I can't modify the information, but I can change what shows. And so right now we have key facts and businesses and in education and income, but I could change that. There are other statistics in there, but this is just that data that is already living in Community Analyst. And so because I said this is my attendance area. So this will be part of what they include in their report is this data to be able to say, okay, for this school, this is what it looks like. But so for you guys, as you're thinking about doing things, Community Analysts, like Paula and Dale, you guys were doing that walk to school type of thing.
Mhm.
Community Analyst might be a really cool place to drop that project in, because you could make a site. You can draw an you can draw a shape, and so you can click on a point and then say you want it to show 1, 3, 5 miles. You can do that and get this data like that to be able to show the population or income or whatever in that area. So it could be another way to extend that. So Community Analyst is actually kind of useful, and it's not as scary as it was in training. I wanted to show you guys we're using it.
Really, what happened is I got the GPS data from the city, and I sent it to Julie and I said, hey, could you do a Community Analyst real quick? And I think 5 minutes later, she sent me the infographic and the map of the area. And I was like, that's exactly what I was talking about.
It was a little more than 5 minutes, okay? Do
Maybe
not.
10. Maybe 10.
It was more than 10 too. It took me a few minutes, but once we got it figured out, it was pretty slick. And this was, we wanted to, Esri puts out all of these really great magazines, and every time I go through and look at them, it's like, oh my goodness, there's so many cool things. This really is just an article for you guys to see how easy, when like Jennifer and Colby, when you're sharing with your teachers, this article is a great story. Obviously this guy is a cartographer, and so he makes maps, and so his son, you know, asks questions, and this guy automatically thinks about a map. But he wanted a map showing ages, like how old people are. And what was really cool is he talks about how he created this map using US counties with census data, which is a layer that's easy, you know, it's an easy layer to find. And then how he displayed the data. And so he goes on through, and he doesn't give us the map actually, but as you go on through, you can see the darker red is where the old people are, and the closer to yellow is where the young people are. And what was old, Dan? Only like 62? So, just so you know.
Yeah.
But it brought up all these questions that he, you know, between him and his child. And so that was the other thing. You know, the census data allows you to create these maps really easily, you know, just by coloring, changing the coloration. And so what a great way to kind of have those questions, answer those questions and address those questions. And
And
go ahead.
even the 11-year-old boy asked those questions. He's, why do they live? Why are they older here? Like, and I think that's it's represented in the article. And if you wanted someone to understand just a basic, I don't know, classroom kid understanding of the world that we live in sort of process, I think it's very well and simply illustrated in this kid Juno's map.
And so, you know, here he talks about, you know, the kid asked, you know, he's wondering about, you know, the breakdown, and then, you know, the kid asks, why are these places so old? You know, and so he's it was just a fascinating article, and like Dan said, a great way to make those connections between mapping and data and being able to ask those questions. And so, and I like he says, it's one of the best maps he's ever made. And so I thought that was really cool.
We both thought Florida would be more red, but we were surprised.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Of course, then I was telling Dan that I just read, I think it was in the parade, where to live if you wanted to live to 100. And California was one of the places, and then some other places, and then Minneapolis. It's so cold. Why would anybody want to live there? We decided they were just permanently frozen. So anyways, but so that's just as you guys are communicating with other teachers and, you know, kind of making those connections, this is a really great article in terms of you can use it for anything. And finally, another article, and this connected us with Minnesota. The University of Minnesota is using this with humanities students. And so here again, a way to make those connections across content areas. So there's a whole article that describes what they're doing. And then my favorite part is they actually give us a story map of resources to help teach with this content. And so they have all sorts of different resources there.
That
So,
might even refer a little bit back to Paula's initial question, but it seemed like there was links to tools on that page that you just shared, Julie.
okay. So this was from the student side, but then they also had, when we go back to the home page, they do link us to instructor resources, and you can also explore student work. And so I thought that was really great to be able to just see what other people are doing and what they're sharing. And I know this is at the college level, but it is also, they're using it with students that are not geography or GIS students. And so it's a little more basic than what you would see if it was for that content area. So I think that's everything for today, Dan, isn't it?
I think it is.
Awesome. So we did throw a survey at the end just to get some feedback on the webinar series and how useful it is for you. If you are doing this for graduate credit, and I'm assuming you are, do make sure you register so that I can record your grade. And I think that wraps it up, unless you guys have more questions.
No.
You know when you will put the grades in?
As soon as you register and let me know.
I'm registered.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, that was easy. So I'll put it in. I'll send out an
I just
email.
wanted you to know technology, I got that one figured out.
You go, Paula.
Every day is an adventure here.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys.